El episodio de hoy se titula Muy tranquila con el gringo. Usted está muy tranquila en su casa con su gringo bello.
Casi.
And Tessa started trying to get the attention. And this rendition is gonna be part English and part Spanish because we can have Tessa, a little bit of Tessa praising. It's a cameo, a special appearance by our dog Tessa. Thank you, Tessa. So we are making this little video because we want to, besides the fact that Blanco making a cameo appearance, we just want to talk a little bit about what it is to be in an interracial relationship that is not interracial anymore because we became one, right, Papa? So let's see. What will be the challenge of being in an what do you understand what is an interracial and what it was one of your biggest challenges?
Well, I think the challenge was that people expected me, successful lawyer, community leader, to marry some blonde hair, blue-eyed model type, or trophy wife, you might say, trophy wife. Just being instead with, somebody from a foreign country who speaks a foreign language, who has a different skin color. I mean, all those things are, in my group of friends that I had and still have. It was, something they didn't expect. And my parents, them too, they were like shocked, that I would go so far from what they would consider to be normal. But, for me, you have to look at the beauty inside a person, inside the heart, is where your spirit lives, in your heart, I believe. And if you have a loving heart, it doesn't matter how, what religion you are, what language you speak, even how old or young you are, because the heart, the spirit that lives is eternal in your heart. And so if you find a kindred spirit who understands that, then you found a partner that you can share your life with. And not everyone is that lucky. Now we've got another one here with the dog. She's jealous already.
Well, Papa, I will tell you that if you ask me if I experience any type of discrimination or rejection because I was with this big white shark, perhaps there was rejection and discrimination of the people and his friends that are still in his legal and personal circle, realm. But even though there was rejection, that rejection, I didn't take it as a bad thing. I took it as a reaction of what they didn't know. So it takes a lot to be adjusted to that environment, more so because I was, very shy, in the sense of, maybe not shy, but calm. I didn't talk much. I didn't, I just smile and wave. And it was easier to accept me because I was so mellow, right? It's like, she's kind of nice. So I started to get in a little bit, because if you don't have that experience to be around in that, in that level, around one of the big partners, the big shot lawyers in the community, you don't have that experience of having someone.
Well, let me just interject, because I think what she's talking about is a much broader point, and that is, and it applies not only in the context that she was discussing, but generally in human behavior, and to be joyful, to have a joyful spirit, and generate thanks. I thank God for today. Living for the moment, enjoying the moment, and living with a smile on your face rather than a frown. Looking for the positive in situations rather than the negative in situations. That's, I think, what Myra did to help win over my friends, because then, and me for that matter, because it goes beyond just the skin color or whatever else differences you may have. If someone is joyful, think of the times in your life where you've met someone perhaps on a foreign trip and they've opened up their hospitality to you and they've been happy and joyful, and maybe they offered you a cup of coffee or something very simple, but still it was an icebreaker, something that allowed you to enter their world, even though it was different, and share that humanity of that joyfulness of living at each day by the grace of God.
Exactly. And what exactly everything he said, because this guy is right. But one thing we didn't try to do and we didn't do is impose our presence. We didn't try to force people to like us. We just live our lives and we were happy to be with each other, and that joyfulness that we experienced became contagious. So people wanted to be around us, and I got to the point that before we were like a real work of art walking, because every time he took me to imagine going to the circles of the Harley Davidson group, in which they are really, they're really white American, right? So we went from
there's black people there, but there weren't back then. There weren't many.
There were many. We're talking about 20 some years ago, 25 years ago at least. So we were like the the scene is like we were into places and people wanted to take pictures of us. They thought maybe that we were either famous or something, but they wanted. Remember that, Papa? Every time we went to the shows and the motorcycle, they call you the tuxedo of the motorcycle.
Well, that goes beyond that too, because she looked like she when she was younger. Okay, I mean, she looks good now. I won't say how old she is because that's not polite. But, I mean, she looked, you could say she was Naomi Campbell, rail thin. If you saw a picture of her all made up and scantily clad, you would say she was Naomi Campbell. Okay, so, people noticed her, not me. I was just a ugly celebrity boyfriend.
No, he was like, they thought he was, what is the name of the guy?
Harrison. They said, "Oh, look, it's Naomi Campbell and Harrison Ford."
Harrison Ford. And we had a lot of fun doing that. You see, it's like, and then it got to the point that people really liked this whatever it was. They couldn't tell what was it that we are exhuming, but it was something that they like, and we
were entertaining pretty much.
Yeah,
I would crack jokes.
Yeah,
she would laugh.
Yeah,
it was
even if I didn't understand it.
We had a whole shtick, as they say in Yiddish.
Yeah, so and then we see how things evolve and how people came and went and stayed, and the only constant was actually us, and we were very firm in our beliefs, and we like the way we live our lives. It's simple, and it is the simple life.
Well, I mean, we've seen a lot of our friends go through relationships, divorces, breakups, different things. I mean, everybody has ups and downs, including us, but the point is that you have to turn the page and you have to leave the past behind and live for today. And I think St. Paul talks about bless this day the Lord has made, let us rejoice and be glad. I mean, that pretty much says it all. Okay, leave the past in the past and live live now, live for each other joyfully in God's grace. That's what you need.
And that not only is good for the family, it's also good for our relationship and our relation in reflection with others, and with our child also, because our child became accustomed to that interaction, that positiveness and that happiness, and that always looking for the positive side of even for problems, because when you cannot, you see, when you cannot resolve the problems, it's something you can do is by try to make the best out of it. And in turn, our son learned to love a life of harmony. And he's 16 years old today. Even our dog, we have our black doggy, don't bite Papa. And we learned to love her too, because that's what we do. And she got used to bite me. Why? Contra. Stop it, girl. We are in the middle of something here. But I get to the point that all of these little things add up, and we when you decide that your life is worth living the way it is, like your mama used to say, love what you had. No, you have to. You don't want, you don't need to want more than what you had. You have to love what you had. I mean, remember that saying she had in the refrigerator?
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. It's like wanting what you have more than having what you want.
Yeah, I don't remember the specifics on that.
Yeah,
one,
yeah,
something
absolutely.
like that.
But our son also, it was so nice when.
No, loving what you have is having what you want. I think that was it.
It's a rhyme like that, with having and wanting. You see, what is Tessa? Tessa. Tessa.
Tessie.
Mírala aquí. Oh my God, that was, we. She hasn't been taught to
Swim yet.
to swim yet, so we are very careful when we don't see her. We are down here, muy tranquila en su casa, because we don't want to be muy tragedia en su casa. But as we were saying before, my husband just took off for the other girl. It was so nice to have our son. Today we went to church, and we brought one of his friends, and it's funny how the things that you do in life, the children will look up to what you were doing. And when you have an environment in which you have a spiritual guidance, where you have a center, where you have a point of reference to hold the family together, then you make it fun, and no something that is dragged down, heavy duty, boring. But the whole environment about church is part of our life, and our son loves it. And it's funny, his friends love to be around that environment also. It's hard enough to to recognize that friend is very involved in the church like our son is, but it's remarkable when you have your son's friends who want to, and they don't reject participation in that his spiritual life by going to church also. And it's something that we really relish, something that we are very proud of, in the sense of we love what we have created. Because when you decide to form a family, it takes two, not only to tango, because the tango will end soon, but the life will continue, and you had to make sure that life remains interesting, loving, caring, and relevant. But that relevance doesn't come after, like interjecting new world things around. That life becomes life because you live it fully, plenty, and in the grace of God. So, el episodio de hoy se tituló A Special Appearance. appearance by the gringo,